Now, a new film telling the true story of the relationship between the Caribbean and English ex-servicemen and women who fought side by side against Hitler is being screened in the capital in the coming weeks. Divided by Race, United by War and Peace explores the experiences of some of the 16,000 West Indian veterans who risked their lives to take part in the Second World War. Before you hear from the documentary's director, here's a short clip of the film.
I was 19 years old. I heard the call.
My mother said, son, the mother country is at war, go. Let us get this straight. The Germans wanted to rule the world.
A serviceman lives a very hard life, a very difficult life. For those who live in a cushioned society today, it's a far wicked life to be a serviceman. Hard, tough, and people don't think about it.
And I'm joined now by the director of the film, Marc. Lovely to have you joining us in the studio this lunchtime. Tell us what it was about these people's stories that made you want to tell the wider capital, the wider world about what they experienced.
Well, my father was one of them. He came from Jamaica as a 17-year-old in 1944. He volunteered, like all of the rest of them. They paid their own passage to come here to fight for the mother country. And so I thought it was important, as someone who has been a journalist and a broadcaster and now a filmmaker, that I document their very important stories, because so many people don't know that black people were in the First and Second World War and fought to keep this country free from the Nazis.
Given that you have a personal link to this story, was there anything that you uncovered in the process of making the film that perhaps surprised you or might surprise people watching it?
Well, we don't just have Caribbean veterans. There's an African veteran who had parents from Sierra Leone and Nigeria, but we had white veterans as well, talking about their experiences with black servicemen and women. And they were fascinating in their honesty and their camaraderie towards these troops. There were some exceptions. Some people would argue till they're blue in their face and say, well, there were no black people in the forces at all. And that seems really strange. And it's a terrible omission from history, and it's something that we feel needs to be corrected, and that's why we made this film.
We've just been seeing some of the pictures moments ago of the film, and you've managed to bring together some amazing archive footage. How did you get your hands on all of this?
Lots and lots of research, and the help of the Imperial War Museum. We had to buy footage from them. Some of the footage is available free now because it's out of copyright. It's over 70 years old. So Pathé News is a very good source, the BBC archive. But yeah, you're right, we have been complimented on the amount of footage that we've managed to get our hands on, including a clip of my father actually dancing with a white woman, which has been used in many documentaries. It's a sort of iconic piece of footage, and we found it completely by chance, and it was a delight to see the old man shaking a leg.
That's quite something. That really is quite something. Why are you doing this now? Why in the year 2015?
Look, there have been so many anniversaries, haven't there? VE Day, other anniversaries to do with the Battle of Britain. And I think that with these, great happenings, it's important to remember the diversity of Britain's forces. More than 1 million troops from India, 16,000 from the Caribbean, 1 million from Africa, not just coming to this country, but actually fighting in the theatre of war, in the Indian subcontinent, in the Far East. And few people know that there are actually submarines, German submarines in the Caribbean, trying to stop the shipment of oil and other products to Britain and stop the war effort in that way. And a lot of people don't know that millions of pounds in today's money was collected by people in the Commonwealth, and planes were donated, tanks were donated, ambulances to Britain to help win the war.